to you.
So that's a little bit hard to follow up on, but I'm Annie Tershwell of Type A Projects. We are L&M development partner here at Bronx Point, and Type A is a proud WBE and a product of the city's commitment to capacity building of MWBEs across the city. A big thank you to EDC for prioritizing our involvement here. I'm joined on the podium by Ron Molis of L&M Development Partners, and we would like to welcome you today to what has become a voluminous, to say the least, but also fitting groundbreaking for this ambitious project. A project that we hope will transform this former coal yard into a cultural and residential asset for the Bronx for generations to come. We have a lot of speakers here today because the project was born out of deep partnerships and a stalwart commitment to community and agency collaboration over the last 5 years. Collaboration with the community, thank you CB4. Collaboration with local elected officials, including the Borough President, Ruben Diaz, and Councilmember Ayala. Collaboration with over 25 agencies, many of whom you will hear from today, including EDC, HPD, HDC, and the Empire State Development Corporation, but also others who work tirelessly behind the scenes every day for 5 years to make this happen, including State DOT, City DOT, DCP, see, there's a lot of people, DEC, DEP, the Mayor's Office of Environmental Coordination, the Mayor's Office for People with Disabilities, and the Public Design Commission. Collaboration with our financing partners, including Wells Fargo. Collaboration with designers, planners, and engineers. And of course, partnership with our not-for-profit partners known throughout the Bronx, Bronx Works, and known universally, the Universal Hip Hop Museum. I would like to just take a quick moment to honor and remember a key and inspiring member of the team, Naveed Makami of S9 Architects. Sadly, Naveed passed away in 2019, but his design leadership and deep humility has left a permanent imprint on me, this project, and the built environment in New York City. He is missed every day, but especially today. What started as an RFEI 5 years ago has culminated into 542 units of permanently affordable housing, over 2.5 acres of new open space designed by and for the community, a permanent home for the Universal Hip Hop Museum, and pre-K space, and an oyster reef by Billion Oyster Project. Bronx Point will be a catalyst on the Harlem River waterfront for years and years to come, and we're just so pleased to have been part of this at Type A.
Thanks, Annie. I want to thank Type A for being an incredible partner in this whole process. So I just want to say, Annie and Jill, you were great, stuck with it. Long road, but thank you. I also want to just recognize this moment in time. A year ago, we were wondering if we'd ever get outside into events like this. It's really amazing that we've had the medical technology and that we've been able to get to a point where in May of 2021 we're able to enjoy an event like this, and we look forward to this continuing. This is just a great way to celebrate and start coming out of COVID and some of the issues around the pandemic. I'm going to be brief because I know no one's really here to listen to me and there's some more exciting speakers. But this is the largest and most exciting development that I've done in 37 years in this business. It's just incredible, and the team, and Annie mentioned the team, and I'm not going to mention names right now, but there's just been a tremendous effort in this, and to get to this point was a challenge and a struggle, but we're here. I want to also mention, in light of the noise going on in the background, which is hard to ignore, the historic agreement that we made in relation to this site with Local 79 and the Laborers Union and their commitment to cooperating with us and to bringing local hiring onto this site. It's the first affordable housing site where we've had the laborers union and a project labor agreement with them, and I think that deserves a special mention in light of everything else. So lastly, I want to bring up two folks, Josue Sanchez and Bernadette Amorosa. You guys come up. Josue and Bernadette grew up in the Bronx, and it's somewhat of a coincidence, but it just shows the dedication that people who grew up and live in New York have to the community that they grew up in. Josue, for the last 5 years, has led the development effort and been the point person in getting us to this point. He ran the development to get to this point. And Bernadette is leading the construction effort, one of the few women in construction. We need more women in construction, but running the construction of this project. So we had a lot of people on our team, and I don't mean to diss anyone else, but I want to give special recognition to the roles they played and the fact that they had such an important effort, and they grew up here. So it's particularly meaningful, and thank you very much for your role. So I'm going to introduce the next speaker, who I met about 20 years ago in Albany playing pinball games. I lost all those pinball games. But he went on to become an esteemed Bronx Borough president of the Borough of the Bronx. He's done many things to improve conditions for his constituents and in the Bronx in general. I'm not going to go into all that, but when we started down this road 5 or 6 years ago, he called me up and he said, "Ron, I want you to promise me one thing. This is a really meaningful project to me and to the Bronx. This has to get done. I want to be at a groundbreaking before I leave office." And he might have actually said he wants to finish before he leaves office, but I'm going to leave it at the groundbreaking. And we're here. And we're on our way to completion, and we're on our way to a hip-hop museum, and we're also on our way to all the other things that this project provides, not the least of which is 542 units of permanently affordable housing going hand in hand with the hip-hop museum. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, Ruben Diaz, Bronx Borough President.
Many people told me the style is terrific. It is kind of different, but let's be specific. KRS-One specialized in music. I only use this type of style when I choose it. Hey, Ron to L&M. Let's give them all a strong round of applause. To Rocky, to Donna, and all of the folks at the Universal Hip Hop Museum. Let's give them all a strong round of applause for all the work that they're doing. I don't know, your energy's low. We have royalty, hip hop royalty in the damn building. Y'all better make some noise. So what's the matter with y'all? What's the matter with y'all? We got LL Cool J up in here. We got Fat Joe up in here. We got Nas up in here. What's the matter with y'all? Make some noise. We got Slick Rick up in here. We got Shy Rock up in here. We got Flash up in here. I'm going to get myself in trouble. And Chuck D, we got Vin, we got them all. Come on, let's give them all a strong round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballero, my name is Ruben Diaz Jr., and I have the best job in the world. I am president of the Boogie Down Bronx. And this is a glorious day, and it's long overdue. You see, hip-hop raised me, and hip-hop raised so many of us. My first record I bought at 10 years of age, it was Rockbox. My name is Joseph Simmons, but my middle name is Lauren. When I'm rocking on the mic, you should all applaud because we're illin', chillin'. We got a funny feeling. We rock the floor up to the ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I remember when I used to bother my parents when I had to get the fat shoelaces different colors so they could match my Latika shirt. And then I had the Lees. And when I got my first sheepskin, forget about it. And the leather bomber. And now and I tell you all of that because hip hop has continued to mature. It starts from the early days of young boys and girls who saw the rest of the world ignore us, who banging on pipes and buckets made beats, and having a little break from a song from a different genre and playing that break over and over and over, where 18 seconds of a break became 45 minutes of just partying. Where you were journalists pushing the language, the English language, showing the rest of the world. It's like a jungle sometimes. They make me wonder how I keep from going under. Showing the rest of the world the injustices that were happening in the South Bronx, in East New York, in Northern Manhattan, in Harlem, and other parts of the city. And then it became contagious. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is global. Hip-hop is the #1 genre of music in the entire planet. Hip-hop took over fashion, cinematography, jewelry, the social media, sports. You see hip-hop everywhere. Hip-hop is the bridge to the racial divide that unfortunately we still see. It's the only way a little black boy from Brooklyn can relate to a white girl in Texas. It's the only way that a doctor in Japan can relate to an artist in LA. Hip-hop was able to make millionaires from kids who were written off. Hip-hop was able to get those millionaires and now billionaires to create tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs to help family members and friends feed their family members. And I don't know about you, but this has to be done here. Because I'm sick and tired, and this is no disrespect to anybody or their accolades. I am sick and tired of hip-hop giants being inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And so this museum, this entity, is going to celebrate this genre of music in the way that it's supposed to. It's going to celebrate the 5 elements. It's going to be a global destination. It's going to be an economic engine. It is strategically located where you can get here by car, by train, by Metro North. You have the Children's Museum on the other side of Mill Pond. It's right on the shadows of Yankee Stadium. You can walk over the bridge and be in Harlem. Today is the beginning, is the groundbreaking, but it's not the end. And I'm challenging everybody here. If you love hip-hop the way that I love hip-hop, if you were raised on this music, if you respect it, if you want to pay homage to hip-hop and immortalize our giants, then you got to start helping out in every shape and form, especially financially. And so I, as the Bronx Borough President, I just want to do this. I want to make an announcement and a presentation to Rocky and the crew. Come on, Rocky. By the way, the affordable housing unit and the way that this is being built here, we have a union, Local 79. Let's shout out Local 79. Black and brown hands are going to build this structure. It's 60,000 square feet, condo to the hip-hop. So this is not rental space. This is a condo space. This is a permanent home. And I want to make the first deposit on behalf. Joe, I want Joe to come up here, Joe. Joe's my brother. I want him. Yeah, this is $4.2 million of capital funding. Let me leave y'all with this. It's going to take a lot more M's to make this what it's supposed to be. God bless you all. God bless hip hop. Thank you all for coming out.
Wow. Yeah. So my name is Rocky Buchanan. I'm the executive director of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. So this journey started over 10 years ago with these guys behind me, Mick Benson, Joe Conzo, LG, Grand Wizard Theodore, Melly Mel, and Africa Bambaataa. These are the founding members of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And we started this journey not knowing where we were going. We didn't even have a name. And, you know, there were other museum projects, but we came up with Universal because we want this museum to represent the entire world of hip-hop. So, as you can see, that dream that started 10 years ago is now a reality because construction has already started. So let's give it up for L&M Development Partners. Hip-hop means a lot to me personally. I come from hip-hop, as Flash knows. I've been around hip-hop since the very beginning, as Breakout knows. And Busy B, Chief Rocker Busy B is in the house. You know, so this museum is being built by people who come from hip-hop. It's not being built from outside of hip-hop. And that to me is very special because we understand what this culture represents to Fat Joe and to the borough president and to everyone who loves this culture. And as Ruben said, we're preserving and celebrating all of the 5 elements of hip-hop. The graffiti, the b-boys, the MCs, the DJs, and all the students and educators who carry the knowledge forward to people all around the world. So that to us is very important. And we're forming great partnerships with companies like Microsoft and Rock the Bells and Mass Appeal. Those are our partners. Let's give it up for all of our partners. It wasn't very easy to get to this point. It took a lot of work. This guy right here, we used to mop the floor at the Bronx County Courthouse trying to clean up for events. And then when we decided that the Bronx County Courthouse was not suitable for what we were trying to build, through the grace of God, we got that call from L&M to tell us about this project. And I knew this lot because I was the executive director of the New York Gauchos basketball program, which is right up the street over there. So I would pass this vacant lot that was empty, not being used, and they would hold this Universal Soul Circus over here. And through the grace of God, you know, the city of New York said, we want to make this a destination for families from the Bronx and all around the world to come to and enjoy the waterfront over here. And we made it possible for the Universal Hip Hop Museum to exist. So this is really God-driven. I believe that sincerely. But before I go, because we got a lot of speakers and I want to get to some of my colleagues over here that are going to talk about what it means, what this museum means to them. Listen, you know, this project would not have gotten to where it is today without the support of our city and state elected officials. They were the first ones to the table. And I'd like to thank Speaker Hasty and Speaker Corey Johnson, Mayor de Blasio, Ruben Diaz, Councilwoman Diana Ayala, Assemblywoman LaToya Joyner, and all the elected officials, and Governor Cuomo, I can't forget him, because he was a big supporter as well. And through their support, it allowed us to create the belief that this project can actually happen. So big up to the city and state officials. Sometimes, you know, it goes a little sideways, but they stood up for hip-hop. They came to the rescue. When nobody else was believing in this project, they were there. And I got to say thank you again. So this project, as you could see, means a lot to a lot of people. That's why we have so many. I think Josue told me, Ron and David, that in your 35 years of doing developments, you've never seen anything as big as this. So this is big, Ruben. Right? That's what we wanted? Big, 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 big. We did it, but it's guys like Flash that we used to battle against and have fun in the parks. And we didn't know how this was going to turn out, Flash, right? LL, I'm sure you didn't know how it was going to turn, you know, when I first met you years ago. But we were doing this because we loved it. And we love it so much that we're putting our heart and soul into this museum. And that's what it's all about. So now, without further ado, let me bring up the newly Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, LL Cool J.
Take a flick. Got the 4.2 in there. Make sure. I just, first of all, I want to thank you, Rocky. Yeah. Thank you for, having me here. Ruben, it's your borough. Thank you for having us here, and thank you for representing the culture so well and doing what you do. I really didn't prepare any remarks. The only thing I could tell you is that, as a little kid, in Queens, when the tapes used to be flooding the area, and I used to, my uncles and different people, cousins, friends, would come through with the tapes, and, Furious 4 tapes, Flash tapes, and, even before the 5, and all them tapes, and the Cold Crush tapes, all the different things. I could just tell you, it made me dream. You know what I'm saying? Hip-hop made me believe that anything was possible. It was the first time that I heard, young black men sound empowered. Most of the time when I saw young black men, they were like, had their heads down being put in a police car. You know what I'm saying, to be honest. So this was like the first time where I felt like, wow, like, it's possible to be powerful. It's possible to be somebody. It's possible to have meaning in this world. It's possible to, because, when you're growing up in the hood, you feel invisible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel like nobody cares, nobody sees you, nobody notices you. You know what I'm saying? Your friends die, nobody cares. The people that they talk about on the television when they die, it's not your friend, but your friend is the one that died, but nobody cares. So hip hop is one of those things that really, gave my life meaning. You know what I'm saying? It made me feel like I could really do something with my life. When guys like, Grandmaster Flash and different artists would make those songs, I would literally disappear in the vinyl. You know what I'm saying? My world would change. My life would change. So I just say that, truly grateful. I am truly grateful to be, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee as Flash is and as Chuck D is. But I must say, it's hip hop first. You know what I'm saying? Like, this culture, our culture, is super important. And other than that, I guess the last thing I would say is that, what Rocky and those guys have accomplished is incredible, because it's proof that with tenacity, hard work, commitment, focus, being able to, surf the waves, the highs and lows, being able to stay focused no matter what's going on, keeping your eye on the prize, you can make it happen. You know what I'm saying? When you have like-minded individuals like Ruben and different people that in this borough who all understood the value of our culture, black and brown people, they understood the value of that culture. That's an important thing. And I also want to say, para mi gente who habla español, Gracias por todo. Tú eres muy importante para hip hop cultura. Yo recuerdo que tú haces para cultura. Okay? ¿Tú sabes? All right, so thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. God bless you. Before I leave, yep, my man. No doubt. And before I leave, I'd like to introduce somebody who I think is a really important artist, a special artist, somebody I have a lot of respect for, a great writer, and just a really, special artist in the world of hip hop, and somebody who's made a great contribution to our culture. My man Nas. Queens in the money.
PX, what up? Look, man, I'm gonna get straight to the point. The gods will always shine. This is a time that was destined to be. The beat started in Africa. The beat started in Africa, it went through Puerto Rico, it went through the Caribbean, and they tried to take the drum hundreds of years ago, because that was our form of communication. Guess what? That drum that they was trying to stop just turned out to be one piece of the science we bring to this planet. This thing today, I'm making this up as I go along, but this is my feelings. This thing today is like a dream come true. I was a kid playing with G.I. Joe and then thinking about what was my life going to be. I saw the Jackson 5, but when I saw Run DMC, like my man Ruben Diaz said, it took my soul. And from that point on, I knew I had a journey and a thing that I was going to be dedicated to for the rest of my life. I did not know I would be making records till I listened to Cool J, Slick Rick. The storytelling is beyond Shakespearean with Slick Rick, and it taught me more than schools taught me, believe it or not. I'm proud to be here in the mecca of hip-hop, the Bronx. I'm proud to be here, see my man Fat Joe here, Grandmaster Flash here, Paradise, Naughty by Nature, Chuck Chill Out. These are the guys that made me dream. The dream has become reality. Shout out to Rocky, shout out to my man, shout out to everybody in the building, and shout out to Mass Appeal, my company, and Kevin Lyles in the Founding 50 fundraiser. We're raising large money on a large scale to help out, because that's what we do. Salute.
My name is Grandmaster Flash. I see a lot of superstars in the house tonight, including Ruben. Thank you so much. I'll be brief. 47 years ago, I took a vinyl, listened to the entire song, hated everything about the song except for the drum solo. I came up with a technique with duplicate copies of the record to take that 10-second drum solo and extend it seamlessly for 10 minutes, or for whatever time it took for a human being to speak. This was the early doings of hip hop. Ladies and gentlemen, I must tell you, this is a really special. This is a really, really special time. I say this in the name of Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, DJ Breakout, Grand Wizard Theodore, DJ Charlie Chase. The names go on and on and on and on. We did this thing as recreation. I can remember listening to records from start to finish and say, I fucking hate the rest of the record except the drum beat. I hated the rest of the record. So I took my teenage years, stayed in my bedroom, and I managed to come up with a technique by placing my fingertips on the record, and I looked at 4 bars of the music. Let's take Good Times, for example. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So I had to figure out, if I pick the arm up and try to place it down, if you've ever seen a vinyl, it has millions of grooves. The chances of you hitting that mark is almost impossible. So I had to do this not by sonics, but by math. For every 4 bars that goes clockwise, I had to turn the record back 6 counterclockwise. And it took me a year and a half to figure that out. Why is it that if the record goes 4 bars clockwise, why do I have to spin it back 6 times counterclockwise? It's because the vinyl spins at 33 1/3. Science, math. Once I figured this out, I went to the nearest park and I tested it. And I can remember that first day, ladies and gentlemen, it was as quiet as it is in this room right now. And I was saying to myself, what the hell is wrong here? Why isn't everybody losing their minds? People were looking under the table trying to figure out if this shit was some kind of fucking magic trick or some shit. I could go on and on and on, but I just want to say thank you, Ruben, and to all your team, and Nas and LL, and all the people that financed this, because it was a time when nobody gave a fuck about the Bronx. You know, there was a time that nobody cared, man. Nobody cared. And this thing that we were doing was anti-everything else. Anti-everything else. And here we are, almost 47 years later. About 48. I've been given lots of titles. The one that scares me the most is legend. Let me explain. A lot of times, legends don't get a chance to see their works in full fruition. I thank Almighty God, and I thank all you hip-hoppers for allowing me to see this thing we did from nothing to now. My name is Grandmaster Flash. Thank you.
Let's give it up for royalty, hip-hop royalty, Grandmaster Flash. I have my friends and colleagues in government, but before they come up, I really need to bring up a brother of mine. We met over 25 years ago when he almost ran me over. When I was going to reach out to the community center over by Forest Projects. And it was there that we formed a bond. It was there that we continue to follow the career of Fat Joe. It was there that as a Puerto Rican boy that I saw Fat Joe with Flo Joe go all over the country and all over the world. But now in his stage in life now, we continue to see this brother call us and bring and say, I want to do more for the kids of the Bronx, for the kids of the schools that I went to, with libraries, with computers, with sneakers when they behave well, so on and so forth, feeding the community. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome my brother, Fat Joe.
Slick Rick the ruler. Let your darkest moments bring your most clarity. And that means this hip-hop music came out of oppression. It came out of people suffering. It came out of the Bronx looking like Vietnam. The buildings was blown up. And people had to make something out of nothing. And you could never stop the passion of the people, the poor people. That's who I stand with no matter what. That's who I'm for. And so, I could tell you too many stories. I'm from this community. I grew up in Forest Projects. My brother Angel, who I aspire to be like, was a crate boy for Grandmaster Flash. And what a crate boy meant was back in the days you had to carry vinyl into the thing. So my brother was actually Grandmaster Flash. Am I correct, Flash? My brother was a crate boy for Grandmaster Flash. And Flash wouldn't pay him with money. They would pay him with more boxes of flyers to give out for the next block party or jam. And so I was a little kid, and my brother would reward me with these tapes. What's up, Vinny? Love you, bro. Naughty by nature in the building. My brother would reward me with these tapes, and I would just sit there and just listen to these tapes, and they'd be like, they would always say, back up from the ropes, back up from the ropes, back up from the ropes, right? And they'd be jamming, they'd be like, Mary, Mary, where are you going to? They'd be like, on, that funk is on. And then it would go, I don't know if you've been told, but Santa Claus is a black man, a black man, a black man. And so I would stay up all night. We had a telephone in front of my window in Forest Projects, a public telephone. How you doing, Mr. Mayor? And they would plug in the boom box. Shout out to AJ, everybody who still. They would plug the boom box into the telephone, and they would play hip hop all night. And I'm supposed to be sleeping. I'm just a kid. I'm talking 8 years old, and I'll be listening to Awesome 2. I'll be listening out the window, and I'll be listening to hip hop. And I knew this is what I wanted to do. Believe it or not, blacks and Puerto Ricans created hip hop music. Latinos and blacks created hip hop. But it was very, very weird for my Cuban father and my Puerto Rican mother to see me writing rhymes on the table. They didn't understand it. So I'd be on the table writing rhymes, and they'd be like, yo, what are you doing? And I'd be like, yo, this is hip hop, man. I'm rapping. And so they always told me, get a real job, go to real school, get a real. And I said, nah, I'm going to make it like this. And now they're proud of me now. And so the Bronx is the birthplace, is the foundation. I like to say hip-hop music is the one true natural resource of the United States of America. Was born from nothing and has fed millions and millions of families out there. This is long overdue. Shout out my brother Ruben Diaz. Too many great people here. Too many great, you know, from Nas to L to Flash to Chuck D, right? Like, he's being humble in the corner, but that's Chuck D. Slick Rick, you know, I'll tell you this quick story. When I was 14 years old, I left my house. I was on the street since I was 14. And even though I was acting tough, and I think I was pretty tough for a 14-year-old, but
I was still scared, man, and I left my house. And I went to sleep in a hotel up by Dodge High School, that $35 a night. And the only thing that made me feel safe, because there was a lot of drugs, a lot of violence, a lot of things, was I would listen to Slick Rick all night on my Walkman, day and night. It would just rewind, and it helped me get through a real scary time of my life, because I was just a kid. My daughter just turned 15. She's a baby, right? But you helped me get through that moment in my life. You know what's up, L. You know how much I love all of y'all. Hip Hop Davies, I see you. Thank you for being here, PMD. And so let's keep hip hop alive. Let's get, obviously what I heard and what I hear most politicians do all the time is Ruben made sure to say, make sure we donate to this museum and make sure we keep this going for real. So we're going to have to do what we have to do to keep this alive. Yo, Busy B. What's up, Busy B? And so Rocky, Mick Benzo, everybody, I want to acknowledge Kool Herc, Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash, the almighty Zulu Nation for setting it off. And my mentor and my idol besides LL, you know that's my idol, but KRS-One. Peace, y'all.
So I'm not going to even try to follow the last few speakers. It's moving and educational for me, and sure for a lot in the room, but it's great. I just want to, none of this is possible without the involvement and the dedication of our mayor and the city of New York. And I want to thank Mayor de Blasio, who I've known a long time as well. And before I bring him up, I also want to thank him specifically for something that doesn't get talked about enough, the talent and dedicated people that he has brought together over the past 8 years in his Housing and Economic Development Group. I mean, this is all real complex, very difficult, and this doesn't get done without an incredibly talented team. Mayor de Blasio, thank you. You've done a great job with that. I'd like to welcome Mayor de Blasio to speak. Thank you.
Raise the mic up. Actions speak louder than words. So everyone's got their story. 1982. I was trying to make sense of the world as a young man. I was trying to find my purpose. And you hear a lot of things, and some things influence you powerfully. So I heard these words: a child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. And it gripped me. It gripped me. And I listened to the message over and over. And I thought, if any song, if any work of art or poetry ever deserved to be able to call the message, this was it. Think about that. Think about that. Something so powerful that it could claim to be the message. That's what it was. So I bet a lot of people here, you each have your own story hearing that song, and so many others. But with that song, I listened over and over, and I said, there is a truth we have to fight for and work for. Because that song was saying what so much of the rest of the world wouldn't acknowledge. And instead of sugarcoating it or sweeping under the rug, there it was right before our eyes. And it told me we had to do something different. So to Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just do a really important official act here, set some history straight. There are some good people on the West Coast. They did some good things, but hip-hop was born in the Bronx. I don't think there's anything else to discuss. Do you? I think we covered that. Would we cover that okay? Done. We're done. We're done. Okay. Now, everybody, this is one of those parts of who we are as New Yorkers, as Bronxites, that we need to celebrate. We need to say that this history is our history. And we did something here. You did something here no one else created. No one else had the vision. It happened here and only here. And then it moved a nation. Hip-hop moved a nation. Hip-hop moved the world. And open eyes and open minds. And voices were heard that were never heard before. People got to express their artistry in their words. It was a revolution. Every one of you who participated in that revolution, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing the truth out. But it's also a celebration of the Bronx. It's a celebration of a place forgotten for so many years, put down, degraded, underestimated. But the Bronx was more than it was ever recognized to be. Remember when they say the Bronx is burning? Right around the same time as that powerful song came out. That's what they wanted to tell you about the Bronx. It was burning, nothing else. No human beings, no community people fighting back, no people helping each other, believing each other. But today we saw people in the Bronx did fight back, stand up, created the Bronx of today, and it is a beautiful, beautiful place. But if we are going to honor the Bronx, and if we're going to remember what makes New York City history and personality and culture so special, we need this museum. We need this museum. Universal Hip Hop Museum. Yes, we'll look at all of hip hop and respect all of hip hop, but universal because hip hop is a universal language. Every corner of the world. So, I'll finish with this. It was important for the city of New York to stand up and be a part of this. Thank you. Ron introduced me. Ron, Annie, everyone who did this, supporting this incredible idea. Thank you. Ruben Diaz Jr., work of passion this is for you. God bless you, brother. God bless you. All the elected officials who believe in it and will keep contributing, right? We want to keep contributing till it's done, and it is great, and it is great as what it celebrates. All the members of my administration, thank you, because this was a labor of love for you as well. But here's where I will finish, where we are going. As New York City comes back, let me see a show of hands. How many people believe after COVID New York City's coming back? Raise your hand. How many people believe the Bronx is coming back? Okay. Here's what I want to say. This museum epitomizes not accepting a broken status quo. When I heard that song in 1982, I heard the tale of a broken status quo we could no longer accept. So when we come back, we do not want to repeat pre-COVID New York City or pre-COVID America. That is not our goal. This is a transformational historical moment. We are the actors in this moment, every one of us. We must have a more equal society. We must fight the disparities COVID displayed to all of us. Hip-hop was a call for justice and is a call for justice today. We need to do the work of justice. I don't want the good old days because they weren't that good. I want a new New York City for everyone. That's what we will build here today. God bless you. Thank you all.
Let's give it up for the mayor of the city of New York. I know that we have some elected officials. We're going to hear from a couple of them here, but we're here with Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez. We have Councilmember Kevin Riley behind me. We have our Deputy Bronx Borough President Marika Scott McFadden. Give it up for these folks. This is government. Government is coming with some, dinero for this. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy here is the most influential, or one of the most influential elected officials in the state of New York. He's a history maker, the first black Speaker of the New York State Assembly. He's from the Boogie Down Bronx. He's my friend. Please help me welcome Speaker Carl Hasty.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's so good to be here. As I've been listening to everybody come up and speak and hear all of the hip-hop legends, and so I want to thank them, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, for giving me Bronx pride when I was a young man. LL, thank you for Rock the Bells. Nas, thank you for Illmatic. Vin, thank you for OPP. And Hip Hop Parade. Let me keep it clean. But I want to give two special shout-outs to my man Fat Joe for taking us all the way up. Oh, I forgot to mention EPMD. I can't forget EPMD. And my constituent, Slick Rick. Lottie Dottie, we like to party, right, Rick? You want man that's on the mic? But I remember running home on Friday nights to catch Hot Tracks and Video Music Box to see all of my legends that I grew up on that really made hip-hop. And Nas, thank you for acknowledging that. Because I want to say this, we all know if it wasn't for the Bronx, this rap wouldn't be going on. Uptown, baby. Uptown, baby. So there's no better place for this hip-hop museum to be than right here in the Bronx. And I want to thank my cousin, well, actually, Rocky's sister is my godmother. And so Rocky has known me since I was a little boy. And when Rocky first came to me and said that he wanted to see this come through, the state, the way we were able to do money, we weren't able to give it the way that the city and is able to do now. But I will say this, we've changed that way. So Rocky, I can't have the borough president put me to shame. So I'm gonna drop a couple of $1 million onto the project as well from the State Assembly on behalf of myself and the members of the State Assembly. So me and Ruben, when we were in Albany, we were known as the hip hop assemblymen. Ruben would come pick me up before we would go hang out from my apartment. He would be blasting the hip hop where all of the neighbors would always know that me and Ruben were going to hang out. But I just want to say to everybody, thank you for doing this. Thank you to L&M. And like I said, there were so many times Rocky would say, Carl, I've hit a roadblock. Where can I go? What can I do? So I just tried to help him navigate that. But I am happy now that I'll be able to do it. And I do want to say this to all of you. We do need you. The hip-hop legends, we need your help. Government can't do it alone. We're doing some. But your name being attached to this museum will help people recognize how important it is for this to be here in the Bronx. Thank you, Bronx. I love you. And to all of the legends, thank you for what you did for hip-hop and for a young black man from the Bronx like me.
Let's give it up for a couple of $1 million by the speaker. Shout out to Dave East also here. Thank you for being with us. We also are represented by the City Council, who made a big, big contribution here. She represents this area here. She's my friend, Councilwoman Diana Ayala.
I want you to enlighten me. I want to bring up my baby brother, Councilmember Riley, who is very, very excited to be here as well. I don't know how to rap, so I'm hoping that Kevin is going to hook me up and make me look a little bit better. I'm sorry about that, but I do have, you know, an Eric B. and Rakim story. My mother sent me, if you're a Puerto Rican, you know, whenever you're sick, you have to, you know, you heal with alcohol. Alcohol and Vicks is a solution to everything, right? And my mother had a fever, and she said, you know, I need to go to the store and pick up a bottle of alcohol. And Eric B. and Rakim were doing a video shoot on Avenue D in the Lower East Side. And it took me 2 hours because I got caught up in the shoot for a little while. I might be in the video, may or may not. I got punished for a week, but it was so worth it. It was so worth it. But in all honesty, I'm really, really honored to be here today. And I want you all, like, this is Ruben's, like, legacy project. And I really wanted to shout that out first and foremost. And you know, between him and Carl and Kevin, I mean, all I hear about is the Hip Hop Museum. The Hip Hop Museum. But this is his last year as a borough president of the Borough of the Bronx. And I really want to say that, and not because he's here. If you know me, you know I don't bullcrap. I love this man because I don't know anyone else. I mean, and we all love the Bronx, but when I met Ruben, I was like, wow, I don't think I know anyone else that loves the Bronx as much as this guy loves the Bronx. And he has worked his butt off to revitalize and to really change the perception of this borough throughout his tenure, not only in the assembly, but as borough president. And he deserves so much credit for that. So I really want you to give him a round of applause because we could not. We're so proud of you. We're so proud of you. This little kid grew up, was born at more houses, and he still, to this day, he goes back to more houses every single time that he can. And people love that, right? Because we're from the borough. We know how, you know, the social injustices have affected us, and it's important for us, now that we have a little status, to come back into our communities and to give back, because nobody else is gonna be able to tell our story better than we will. So again, I'm honored to be here. I wrote a little speech, so I want to read it. Don't look at me too much. It makes me a little nervous. My husband is going to be really upset when he finds out you were all here and I didn't bring him, you know? And Slick Rick got me in trouble the other day because I was coming out of work and I was like blasting Slick Rick and walking to my little block with all the little Italian ladies on the side, and they're like, what the hell are you doing, council member? But I love you. Thank you for bringing a little joy into my hectic life. So I'm really honored to be here. I'm really excited because this is a really momentous occasion. And there have been many, many conversations, and there will be many more about the Hip Hop Museum. What I will add to that is that I am so honored to have you be right here in my district, the 8th Councilmatic District. And I thank you for making me the envy of Brooklyn. At just about every meeting, again, the Hip Hop Museum comes up time and time again with a tone of great pride. You are really a symbol of what is good and all of the good things that come out of the borough of the Bronx. So again, thank you. But I also want to recognize that this not so beautiful piece of land right now will become a completely transformed future home for so many families that right now are being rent burdened and pushed out of their house, and hopefully it'll be the new home to some Bronxites that may be moved out for whatever reason and they want to come back home. So we welcome them with open arms. Mr. Mayor, thank you. Thank you for the investment. Borough President Diaz, you know I love you. Carl, thank you so much. Community Board 4 is in the house. Thank you so much. And to all of the community residents that participated in the numerous meetings that helped inform this project, thank you all so much. I really look forward to being here at the ribbon cutting and enjoy the rest of this magnificent event. I really want to introduce, I want to give Kevin, he's going to probably rap for us, so we're going to see.
I don't know if I'm going to rap, but how everyone doing today? I'm Councilmember Kevin Riley. I just got elected this year in January. But I wanted to make sure I'm here today because hip-hop saved my life. When I was younger, my father got locked up. As a young black man, you know, we don't have a lot of idols that we look at in the community. We look at athletes, we look at the hip-hop artists. My favorite rappers here today, Nas, Esco. My new favorite rappers here, Dave East. You saved my life in 2018 when Paranoia 2 came out. You saved my life. My grandmother died in 2002 when Godson came out. And this is what happens when hip-hop gets into our life. So I had to make sure I came here today. And I got into politics because Speaker Hasty and Ruben Diaz, our president, they were the hip-hop elected officials. And when you look at politics, you don't see individuals that look like me or look like Ruben or look like Carl. People that could kind of bridge the gap with our youth to get them more involved in politics. That's why I look this way I look today. That's why I dress the same way I look today, because I want to bring more of our youth into politics. But I thank you so much for continuing to give us legacy, continue to give us something to live for, because we really, truly appreciate you. And this is something that we're going to celebrate hip-hop here with. And unfortunately, the city council was able to give $6.75 million up till today. Up till today. And me as being the co-chair of the Bronx delegation, with my other co-chair, Diana Ayala, Rocky, we got so much more money to get to you, all right? Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your support. Thank you, Speaker Hasty. Thank you, Fat Joe. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Councilwoman Diana Ayala. So before I bring on the next speaker, Bruce Jackson, you can get ready to come up. Just tell you a little bit about what's being built. We're building a 52,000 square foot state-of-the-art museum right here where hip hop was originated. We have the best partners to bring a 21st century museum, Microsoft being our technology partner, Ralph Applebaum Associates, who is the best exhibit design team in the world, building out our exhibits. We're going to have a 300-seat theater inside the museum. So we'll be able to have Flash come over and do some demonstrations. We'll be able to do some stuff with all of the new artists that are coming up, like Dave East, come up there and do a listening party and showcase your music. So this is going to be really a community-driven project. You know, hip-hop came from the community. Our job is to make sure that we are responsible to the community in terms of education programs and cultural programs, and even a workforce development project that we're creating called Hip Job Juice, which is dedicated, it's a new search engine to help people who live in marginalized communities find jobs. And that's what the museum is standing up to and to do. So, you know, we have so much, we have so much happening. I want to give a shout out to some of the women that are here. MC Sharrock, stand up, the first female MC of hip hop. And Lisa Lee, stand up. Mandy, who supports the one and only Slick Rick. Stand up, Mandy. Come on, Mandy. My wife, Kim, is here. We have Martha Diaz. Stand up, Martha, our Director of Education. Senyan is over there running shotgun for everybody. We have an amazing team at the Universal Hip Hop Museum. And last week, I think it was, we got an amazing gift from Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, that gave the museum $5 million. So without further ado, let me bring up Bruce Jackson of Microsoft.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm extremely excited to be here today. My name is Bruce Jackson. Many of you don't know me. However, I'm an Associate General Counsel at Microsoft. I'm currently representing a $15 billion business where we help customers transform their actual business and help them accelerate to their digital transformation in the cloud. But before becoming a lawyer, before even thinking about becoming a lawyer, I was actually a young boy who grew up in pre-gentrified Crown Heights. I listened to Rapper Delight in high school. I certainly remember the breakdancing. I remember the parties in the park. I remember the culture. I remember the style. I remember the fashion that all influenced me and the rest of the world. I grew up hip hop. Fast forward, after I graduated from law school, I was drawn back into the culture. I formed an entertainment law firm with some colleagues of mine from college, and we represent rappers and R&B artists such as LL, Busta Rhymes, Pete Rock, CL Smooth, MC Light, and the list just goes on. And one of the amazing things is that these groups of African-American artists made a conscious decision to have an African-American firm represent them. And because of the decision they made yesterday, I'm who I am today, and I'm forever grateful. And what we did at that time, we really just fought and advocated to make sure that our clients were paid for their service. And we preserved, basically, we also advocated for preserving certain rights, such as publishing. It was just an honor to really represent our clients and hip hop in that capacity. Moving forward, I realized there was a change in the actual music industry, so 9 years after having my own firm, I decided to join Microsoft's digital media division. I've been with Microsoft for 20 years now and in various capacities, supporting product groups, sales group. And while my time at Microsoft has been rewarding, I would not have imagined that in 20 years I would do a full circle, come back to my roots, stand here before you on the site of the actual Universal Hip Hop Museum and announce Microsoft as the strategic technology partner for the museum. And as a strategic and the official technology partner, what Microsoft plans to do is really leverage their technology to preserve and celebrate hip hop, and also to share this unique story with the rest of the world. And as mentioned earlier by Rocky, as part of our AI for Cultural Heritage program, we're going to tribute $5 million to the Universal Hip Hop Museum to support its mission. And this mission is connected to Microsoft's mission, which is to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. And yes, that means the museum as well. Rocky, what I have to say is that we are extremely impressed, and have been, with what you and the entire organization of people and what you have brought this organization to date. But we're extremely excited and enthusiastic with being your strategic and your official technology partner going forward. And we're certainly ready for this ride. In closing, what I would like to say is that I could not be prouder to be a part of this historic moment. There's certainly a lot of excitement around the Universal Hip Hop Museum, and I'm going to ask, encourage, and challenge a lot of people to join us on this particular journey. There's a lot to be done. The museum doesn't want to leave anyone behind or out. And as a result, I want to ask you, I want to ask you, I want to ask you all to join us on what's going to be a terrific journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. This project is a huge mixed-use development project that is more than just a museum. There's so many other different components that are part of this project. And all this would not be possible if we didn't secure a land lease with the Economic Development Corporation of New York City. So I would like to bring up our next speaker, Rachel Lowe, President and CEO of EDC.
Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. It's afternoon now, though. My name is Rachel Loeb. I'm the president and CEO of the New York City Economic Development Corporation. And the first thing I have to admit was that Councilwoman Ayala and I worked it out together to fangirl to come up and have a picture with you. So thanks so much. EDC is responsible for building strong neighborhoods and creating good jobs. And on behalf of my colleagues and I, we are so thrilled to be here today. We do a lot of work throughout the 5 boroughs, but this one in particular is near and dear to our heart. It is a labor of love. It is a labor of partnership. It's a labor of partnership between the private sector, the public sector, the community, the elected officials, the cultural community, and hip hop. And we are so proud. It really takes a village, takes everybody to get to this day. So I want to talk for just 1 second, because I know I'm not the most interesting person here today, about EDC's involvement. Starting back in 2015, we led the administration's $200 million initiative to invest in the Lower Concourse neighborhood of the Bronx. And we didn't do it alone. I want to just shout out Paul and Community Board Forward. This was a conversation. This was something we did together. And through your partnership, it brought us here today. And then in partnership with our colleagues over at HPD, we released a RFEI, which is an expression of interest to bring in the private sector to partner with us to create a vision for this community, to execute the community's vision. And we were so proud to be able to select L&M, and in most particular, Type A woman-owned, woman-led development company, to partner with us. This is something we believe in. The development team is taking part in our Hire NYC program that makes sure to connect workforce development services with local partners to provide jobs for local Bronx and New Yorkers. We also played another role by contributing $27 million to make sure there is publicly accessible open space on the water so that New Yorkers and particularly Bronx residents can access the beautiful waterfront. So it's been a long road, but we worked together to get to this, this closing and this groundbreaking. And really, it is an example about how everybody can work together, not just the city, but with the state, with our local community, and support local residents and local businesses. So we cannot wait to come back here for the ribbon cutting with the school, with the hip hop museum, with affordable housing, and the waterfront. And so I want to acknowledge, he's taking some pictures, but I want to acknowledge Mayor de Blasio, our colleagues at Parks, HDC, HPD, DCLA, our development team again, and most importantly, I need to take a moment to thank our EDC staff. I think 100 people worked on this at EDC, on and on and on and on, and we wouldn't have gotten here without their advocacy, their brains, and their sweat. So thank you so much for having us today, and congratulations. Next up, Marion Phillips, ESD, my friend. Where are you, Marion? Marion. Oh, there you are. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. A couple of things. Congratulations, Ruben, on one of your many projects that you're going to wrap up and make sure the Bronx knows that you left your mark. A child of the Bronx who left a mark. I have two things to say. It's going to be very simple. One, on behalf of Governor Cuomo, we did give $5 million to the project. Two, it is real clear, when you build a movement, you need to leave an institution, and hip-hop has left an institution that's cultural, that's business, that's athletic, that's artistic, and bottom line is, congratulations, God bless, peace, everybody, and yes, LL, you are my fave. You are my fave. Every Sunday night, I still got to watch it. Oh, and by the way, LL, Marion, remember that, right? Yeah. Thank you. Rocky, congrats.
Thank you. Just like to say that we still have a few more speakers, but the most important thing is coming up, which is the shovel ceremony. So please do not leave. We need everybody to put that shovel in the ground. So without further ado, to talk about the affordable housing component to this project, let me bring up the Commissioner of HPD, Louise Carroll.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. So I speak for all of my colleagues at HPD. Every last one of them wanted to be here today. I don't know why. But we're proud to be part of this amazing project. As hip-hop has matured, thank you. As hip-hop has matured, the way we build affordable housing today has also matured. The housing that's going to be here is going to be 500 families going to be receiving permanently affordable housing. That means you're not going to be priced out, you're not going to be pushed out. This is permanently affordable housing with outdoor science programming, early childhood space, a playground, 2.8 acres of public open space, and the new Universal Hip Hop Museum. I really want to start by saying thank you to our mayor, who in the dark days of the pandemic, when the city had no money, you gave the money to finance this project. And so this project has over $100 million of city money and $130 million of bonds. And this is thanks to our mayor. Thank you so much. And I'm just going to thank a whole bunch of people, including the councilwoman, Diana Ayala, Wells Fargo, the borough president, Ruben Diaz, L&M, Taipei Projects, HDC, Small Business Services, Parks, and EDC, and to all my colleagues at HBD. You worked so hard under very difficult conditions, and you brought this financing to fruition. Thank you. Thank you.
Rocky.
We're almost done, everyone. I know everyone's antsy to get to the shovel ceremony. Just give us a few more. I'd like to bring up, we're developing the green space around here. We're extending the park, Mill Pond Park, and building out the waterfront esplanade. So I want to bring up the commissioner of the Parks Department, Iris Rodriguez Rosa.
Hello, Rocky. Thank you. It's a pleasure to finally meet you. It's a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, hello. How's everyone doing? All right. So I want to say to you all also that this borough is also known as the Condado de la Salsa. Am I right? All right. So I just wanted to make sure because hip-hop was born here, but the salsa also lives here. I just wanted to let you know. So I'm your Bronx Commissioner for the Parks Department. I'm representing Commissioner Mitchell J. Silva. I want to say something that this administration also, how many of you also enjoy the music in the parks as well, right? Everybody comes to a park. So I just want to say this administration has given so many millions of dollars to restore many of the parks in this borough. So I just want to say thank you to this administration, to the elected officials that also fund many of the parks, to our elected officials. I want to say that this project is also going to be part of having an additional, expanding the barbecue area that is needed. It's going to have an additional playground that's going to be here. And we're going to be able to enjoy the waterfront here for the public, not privately, but for the public as well. So we want to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy it. So people coming to the museum are also going to be able to enjoy their park. So I want to say thank you to my colleagues in government. Thank you to my elected officials. And thank you to this administration. And go ahead, Hip Hop Museum. Rocky, thank you. And I think I am supposed to introduce, if she's here, is Paige Travel. Oh, Paige, hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paige Travelstead. I'm Managing Director at the Community Lending and Investment Group at Wells Fargo. I know no one is here to hear from the bank, but I just want to say we were delighted to... We provided a $132 million loan and $119 million of equity into the project. And I want to say, as a girl from Brooklyn, I am so delighted that I could be part of this project. These are just the kinds of projects that we want to invest in at Wells Fargo. They bring affordable housing, which is so necessary to anybody that wants to have a healthy, happy life, but to include a cultural icon like the Universal Hip Hop Museum and a beautiful waterfront park is just going to make everybody living here have a happy, healthy life and get what they need. And we're just so delighted. I want to thank everybody from L&M, Type A, HDC, HPD, EDC, the Parks Department, and everybody, all the elected officials. Thank you so much. We're delighted. Thank you. I don't know who's next.
All right, how's everybody doing? All right, don't call it a comeback. We are back. So I just want to say how delighted I am. My name is Paul Phelps. I'm the District Manager of the Community Board for the Capital District. You are in my home. So I'm going to be really brief. I'm super excited about this project. As you mentioned, this has been 5 years in the making.
The groundbreaking financing is taking a really long time, but we are here. I want to thank the borough president for his eternal support for this project. I want to thank EDC, L&M, Type A Projects, Councilmember Ayala, City Council, the mayor, for all of their support. I want to thank everybody affiliated with the Universal Hip Hop Museum. Special shout out to LL Cool J, Queens Boy in the house. And I also want to thank all my community board members who have been supportive to this project. And we very much look forward to the grand opening and the ribbon cutting that will be taking place soon. Thank you very much.
So I know that I'm rounding up the last bit as everyone rushes out. I'm Eileen Torres. I'm the executive director of Bronx Works, and I'm also a Bronx girl. So Bronx Works is proud to partner in this amazing, amazing project. We've been here for nearly 50 years, living our mission to help individuals and families improve their economic and social well-being. From toddlers to seniors, we feed, shelter, teach, and support our neighbors to build a stronger Bronx community. Bronx Point represents the same vision that we have for the Bronx. Hundreds of affordable housing units, revitalized outdoor space, retail shops, small businesses, educational and cultural enterprises, and a bright and vibrant community. We're proud to be here to run an after-school educational program for children between the ages of 3 to 5 years of age, and also provide supportive services to the tenants in the units. So thank you so much, and I'll end here since everyone's sort of running to the side. Thanks so much.